Hello, everyone. This is Howard Fox, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series, the podcast that celebrates individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. Zeb Welborn is our guest today. Zeb is the president of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. Zeb, welcome to the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast.
Hey, I was super excited to be here. Thank you for chatting about our excited to chat with.
Fantastic. Now, I have to admit, I would imagine some of our listeners are wondering, Howard, why is there a Chamber of Commerce on an Outdoor Adventure Series podcast? And I would then say to them, well, folks, if you look at a Chamber of Commerce and you also look at some of the episodes we've done already with a lot of our destination marketing organizations, there is a huge overlap between many of the communities throughout this country and the destinations. And so there's this joint ability, desire to bring people into the community and to enjoy the best that it has to offer, whether it's the businesses walking down Main Street or even taking advantage of the outdoor activities. And so Zeb is actually the first guest on our new series where we are focusing on the chambers of commerce, and many of them are going to be in the state of California, the state of Oregon, and Washington, and then we're going to slowly make our way across the country. So again, Zeb, welcome. And first off, this cannot be your first podcast, okay? I imagine you've been on quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, I used to run a podcast myself back in 2013, 2015, somewhere. It's called the Defining Success Podcast. So I interviewed a bunch of people that I thought were successful. So no, this is not my first rodeo.
Okay, I love that. By the way, that's a saying I use. It's not your first rodeo. So you were actually one of the innovators in this field of podcasting, or this modem of communication. So what was why did you stop? You just get very busy, or just other interests came up?
So it's an interesting story. So I started it. I was starting my business. I had no context. I had nobody that I knew in business. So I really wanted to interview people that were successful in their careers and just interview them about what success looked like. So I think I did it from like 2013 till 2015 or so. I know it's still on iTunes, so it's still available. So I interviewed 120 people. I was on the top of iTunes. They had I don't know if they still have the new and noteworthy section, but I was up there in the top of iTunes for a while. So it was really a rewarding experience. But then once that new and noteworthy section, I think it's like 90 days. So once that kind of faded, viewership was lowering a little bit. I had like a podcast guy that would edit and that would do all the editing and posting of my podcast. And I wanted to kind of play with the structure a little bit. So that's why I took it in-house. And then I quickly realized that it was way more work than I thought it was going to be. I had the intention of publishing all of these episodes. And then I just got busy with work. My business had started to grow. And I just kind of got overwhelmed with the workload of the business that I was doing, and I had the attention of posting stuff. But eventually I just realized that wasn't going to happen for me as my business was growing. So it was a great thing to do. I really enjoyed the experience. And I would recommend anybody to do a podcast because you get a chance to learn so much. It's just great exposure at the same time.
I love it. You are actually a commercial for our goals, which is to get communities, whether it's a city, a full chamber in the county, destination is using podcasts to promote local businesses, and also the destinations, what you do when you're in the community. And I will share, by the way, here in 2025, the technology of producing that podcast, it's still a lot of work, which people don't realize, and you are spot on there, but it's gotten a little bit easier. So just want to let you know if you want to start it up again. So let's talk about the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. And first off, for our listeners, where is the Chino Valley and what are the communities that make up this organization?
Yeah, so we're in Southern California. I like to describe it as we're about 45 minutes east of LA, depending on traffic. And we're also about 30 minutes north of Disneyland. So we're kind of there, but really we're at the hub. So Orange County, LA County, San Bernardino County, and Riverside County all converge together where Chino Valley is. So we're kind of like the the middle spot or the connector between all of those different counties in Southern California.
Okay. And what are the communities that make up the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce?
So, I mean, we're a business organization, so we have our business community is represent. So we represent our businesses, our local businesses that are here. So
Mhm,
I'll talk about it from a business perspective. We
mhm,
have a lot of manufacturing businesses here. We have a lot of construction businesses, healthcare, logistics is a kind of growing industry in our region, and then we have a sector we call professional services. So those are the four different industry sectors that we represent
mhm.
as a chamber. Our community is we run the gamut. It's kind of like a melting pot. I was born and raised here, so there's a
Okay,
lot of different folks that come in from all over the globe that reside in little neck of Southern California.
okay. And how long have you been the president of the chamber?
So I've been the president of the chamber since July of 2018. So it's
Okay.
about 6.5 years, I
Oh,
think, or
wow.
almost 7.
Okay.
I was on the board of directors of a digital marketing business. I mentioned that podcast before. I was digital marketing business. So I have a
Okay.
digital marketing business that I still run. I started that one in 2010. So that's what got me involved in the chamber as a volunteer. I was on the board of directors, and then they had asked me to take it over in 2018.
Okay. And with so you've got the businesses, manufacturing, healthcare, construction, and you called it also the melting pot. You've a lot of folks coming in from everywhere. They're now in the valley, Chino Valley. How do they get out there and enjoy themselves? They leave work. Maybe they don't go home right away, but where are they going to just kind of unwind, get some exercise, walk the dog, take the family on a picnic? Where are they going in your area?
Yeah, so one of the cool things about and this is like the Inland Empire in general, we're like an hour away from the beach, an hour away from the mountains. So in a day, you can go both. You can go up to the mountains and play in the snow. You can also head over to the beach and surf in the beach. So like we're in this really cool centralized location where it's easily accessible to these things that most people don't have access to. So that's cool. And then inside of our community, we do have a lot of parks. There's a lot of opportunities for people to go and walk. So I think both cities have a strong focus in making sure that we have lots of open space and land to do recreation, to hang out. So like the Chino Hills State Park is one of our draws into the region. It's got 14,000 acres of scenic trails and native wildlife. There's this McCoy Equestrian Center where there's horses and stables and things like that. You could do that. There's the Springs Park, which is in Chino Hills. We do have a lot of like I'll call them sports and recreational leagues.
Mhm,
So I do play soccer myself every Sunday. I also play a lot of golf. So I will visit local golf courses. I think we have three in the Chino Valley area, maybe four in the Chino
mhm.
Valley area. And then I play soccer at the big soccer park at a park in Chino. There's also a Big League Dream sports park. So these are like replica ballparks of real life ballparks that people go and play softball in. They have an indoor soccer arena. So there's lots of those types of things in our community. And then I can't remember. I want to say there's like 60 or 70 parks in Chino Hills alone. And then
Really?
there's similar as like 40 parks in Chino. So I know that there's a big emphasis in making sure that there's lots of opportunities for people to play, walk their dogs, hang out outside, do that kind of stuff.
Okay. Now, I remember I was chatting with you before we hit the record. Is I had spent some time on a project in the area a long time ago, and I remember staying at this hotel, the Air Suite. It was right on the highway, and I remember there being the river, the Santa Ana River. I think that now is that a free flowing river, or is it does it flow when the weather gets there's a rainy season, or is that just it's on the map and that's about it?
Well, that's so the Santa Ana River is a little bit south. I will say,
Right.
used to run. Actually, I was training for an Ironman, and I would run marathons, and so that was like the bike ride. So you can
Okay.
literally ride your bike along, and I'm pretty sure it's the Santa Ana River bed, where we would ride our bike along that. And you could ride from Corona, which
Okay.
is just south of us,
Right.
and ride that all the way to the beach. So I would
Okay.
do that as I was training for that Ironman. I did not end up doing it, but I was training for it for a while, where I'd ride the bike down to the beach, and it's kind of a cool thing if you've ever been able to do that. So people will make that trek all the time. There is a lot of like bike paths and stuff that you could do on that front as well.
Okay. With the families that are coming into the community, how are you accommodating them in terms of, like, the restaurants and the stores to buy produce? And by the way, it just brought back a memory. I remember when I was staying, there was the roadside stands that were selling strawberries. I remember I had the biggest and best strawberry I've ever had in my life was in your neck of the woods somewhere. It just came to mind as I was about to ask questions about food. But, so what types of, accommodations are being made for the variety of cultures that are coming into the community? And I imagine there's lots of opportunity to really have local festivals and fairs. So how would you describe those kinds of activities?
Yeah, no, it's interesting to bring that up. I run the Chamber of Commerce. We're planning our next event. Our next event happens to be the Taste of the Chino Valley. So we literally had just finished that meeting where we're setting the stage for this taste. So we have 30 or so restaurants that come and sample their food out to our community. We do it at this place called the Shops at Chino Hills, which actually where I'm at right now. We have a little co-working space in their
Mhm.
facility. So it's like a downtown area, a modern downtown area. That's what they've got. Lots of like I think Barnes and Noble. It's I can't remember, but they have this whole like basic area where there is lots of restaurants and lots of places to eat, and that facilitates a lot of that stuff that we do through our events. So we have probably 3 or 4 major events that we host here at the Shops at Cheetah Hills, which is in this downtown area. It's a great place to hang out. So lots of people will come here to do it. But like you mentioned, we do have lots of restaurants that represent lots of different cultures throughout Chino and Chino Hills. So there is really great dining and eating opportunities here if you're a fan of food. We
Mhm.
have, and then we have kind of have representation from all any culture you think of. There are restaurants to kind of support that here in Cheetah Hills. We do have a strong emphasis in Mexican food. So
Okay.
there's a lot of really good Mexican food restaurants around town, but we have every restaurant covered. One of the businesses that was here helped us plan their new business. He was from Italy, opened up his own Italian restaurant at the shop at Cheetah Hills. So he was just highlighting the different food that we have here. So those are some examples of some of the restaurants here in Chino Valley.
I love it. Now, I'm a big fan of, well, coffee shops, fully branded coffee shops, but kind of local roasters. If I come back to Chino, Valley and Chino Hills, will I find a good cup of coffee?
Yeah, it's funny that you're bringing all these things up. And literally, right before that meeting at the Chino Valley, we had another meeting at this place called Coffee, which is also at the shop. So we had a meeting there, Clutch, and they have like I want to say 5 to 7 local coffee breweries or
Mhm.
coffee places. So they've got some. There's a place called Canabrew, which is in
Okay.
town that I used to go to a lot. So that's an independent individual coffee roaster, and I'm sure there's several others, but those are the ones that were affiliated with the chamber.
Okay. Now, how about, like, farmers markets where people coming in with good produce during throughout the year, I would imagine, just given the weather?
Yeah, so here at the Shop at Chino Hills, I know they do one every Wednesday. So every Wednesday
Okay.
night, they have a farmers market that happens here, and it is a great. I mean, they block off one of the main streets. They set up booths all along those streets, and so that is a very attractive farmers market here in town. You mentioned those strawberries, so this place used to be a farm community, and so there were places where that was all around town. And actually, there's still one strawberry farm that is still in town that I'll drive by on my way to work every day. It's changed a lot. So all of those farms have kind of out and got these logistics and manufacturing facilities that are coming in
Mhm.
to take over that space. But there still is an element of that kind of agrarian culture that we have here. My
Mhm.
father-in-law's business on a ground cover business, so there's still a lot of that stuff here locally. But yeah, there is a lot of opportunities to bring those events. People are coming together for a lot of different reasons, and the farmers market is just one of those.
Okay. By the way, you're probably asking yourself, "Why is Howard asking me these kinds of questions?" I'm always looking for my next place to live, so I have always have ulterior motives, but, you never know when, uh, the desire to move to California and back into the Chino Valley is an opportunity. So I am curious, the building behind you, is that a chamber office? Because I had seen that up on the website.
Yeah, so that is our chamber building. It was built in, I want to say 1886 or 1870s. There is a big plaque on the front. I always forget the date, but that is like an old schoolhouse building. It's been a bunch of different things over the years, but it's been our chamber building since I want to say 1999. We took it over. What I took over is when I got involved in the chamber, like there wasn't anything in there that was built after like 1990 or something, including the computers. So we've done a lot of modernizing of the interior. So it looks fantastic on the inside. It's a cool building to be a part. It has this historical significance. It is an historical building. They call it the Gray Building here.
Okay. Okay. So I am curious, another question, and afterwards, I'd like to go over to the website to kind of have you navigate for our listeners. What does the chamber website look like? But I'm curious, since you were born and raised in this area, has the change from when you were just a little kid playing soccer or baseball out in the local field to where you are today and you see all the growth and expansion, what's been the biggest aha moment for you is like how this community in this area has evolved?
You're asking all these really interesting questions, and there's like a tie into something done really recently or that I'm at right now. So
I'm
I
just good at this. I'm good at this. Okay.
yeah, so I had one of my best friends from college years, high school and college years. He's in the military, so he's gone and he comes back to town every 2 or 3 years. So literally this last weekend on Friday, he came into town. Every time he's gone for 2 or 3 years, he will come back, and every time like the place looks totally different.
Mhm,
So like the city of Chino was one of the top 10 boom towns in the country last year or the year before that. So there's like a lot of growth that's happening here. I
mhm,
think it's LA and Orange County because there's no more real land. There's people that are developing these different areas. The Inland Empire is also positioned well from like a logistics standpoint. Like a lot of goods are moving through our communities, and so therefore there's a desire to build some investments and there's like growth, a lot of growth opportunities here.
mhm,
So when I was, it's from perspective as somebody who's in my early 40s, so I'm kind of growing in my professional career. There is lots of opportunities that are coming to our. There are lots of really exciting things coming to our community. There's a lot of desire to see economic development and growth here. So there's just a lot of really exciting things that we're working on growing. So when I'm working with businesses or working with our community, it's just so many different things that we can focus on and bring attraction to our community for that it's a fun time to be in the chamber industry. It's a fun time to be a part of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce just because of all the growth that is happening in our region. Get to be a part of that, which is pretty cool.
okay. Is there a good balance though between the economic development and the families and businesses and families moving in with the desire to retain the outdoor space? Give because there is a need. We work hard. We're just inundated with social media. We've we've got to get outside and just kind of put our feet in grass, so to speak. And is there a good balance between the desire for that growth and economic development and maintaining the green space so people can enjoy nature?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that our leadership has done a very good job at making sure that it does have all of those green spaces, the opportunity to go into the community to do that, because preserving some of that history, land, and culture, while also creating opportunities for growth in our area. So I think, like we mentioned, those farmlands, like those are land, they're still operated from a business perspective. So it's just like reevaluating what those kind of businesses that are housed in those areas are, because the infrastructure isn't there like it used to be, and they're
Mhm,
choosing to the different spots. So those same spaces are being taken over by businesses, but it's not necessarily like parks or places where people would go to spend time to hang out. So there is a very healthy balance, I would say. There is always a conflict of like which properties we want to see. What is like there's a new affordable housing they're working on developing that there's a lot of discussion about in our community about whether it's good, whether it's not so good. But that's I'm sure that many communities have that kind of same type of discussion going on. So I'll just say that I know we've done a good job of preserving our open spaces and land. So it is a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to go outdoors. It is a place to have all those opportunities while at the same time creating opportunities to do like really exciting things from a business perspective that we haven't been able to do before.
Okay, very good. Well, listen, I would love if you would just take us on a tour of the Chino Valley Chamber's website. I'm going to, through the miracle of technology, see, we probably couldn't do this way back when you were doing the podcast, but let me just get it up here. All right, so I am sharing my screen, and you should be seeing it now. Let me open
All
it up.
right. So yeah, from a perspective, you can see Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. I'll just highlight like the recent successes that we've had. We were a finalist for Chamber of the Year. This is for the whole country. So
Oh,
the work we did in terms of promoting local businesses is kind of what we're recognized for. We created this program that we called Upskill Chino Valley.
hmm,
And Upskill Chino Valley focused on four things. It focused on workforce development. So coming out of COVID, one of the things we recognized a lot of our businesses had help wanted signs everywhere. So we're trying to solve that problem for our businesses. We wanted to solve it in the short term, which is our workforce development work, where we're doing job fairs and placing people with jobs. But we also wanted to serve it in the long term. So we thought that there are three things that if we worked towards, it would help solve kind of our workforce issue here locally. One of those things was leadership. If you have strong leaders, you're going to retain more employees. So we developed a leadership program. It's a 10-month program where we have people come into our community or come to our local sites and then get connected with other leaders. So we've done that for 3 years. So that's been an exciting program for us. We also focus on these. I'll move on to the economic roundtables. So we do
hmm,
these round tables where we bring in industries from a different sector.
hmm,
Each of these sectors, basically, our goal is let's identify some of the challenges and pain points our businesses are facing, and then let's create actionable items that we can work towards solving those problems. So, when you bring in 20 to 30 or so businesses, we'll have a very robust discussion, connection, and then we'll identify action items that we can take as an organization.
okay,
The other thing that I'll highlight is our entrepreneurial programs.
okay,
So that's also the fourth thing that was on the list. So we do a lot in the space of entrepreneurship. We host entrepreneurial workshops. We were just awarded a little over $1 million to build an entrepreneurship center into our community.
oh, wow,
So we're working on that. That's an upcoming project for us. So that's a new thing. I'll talk a little bit about our youth programs because that's also something that's kind of unique to our chamber where we do a lot of a lot of work with our youth. We created a couple of things. So one, we do this pitch competition. It's it's a high school students so pitch their entrepreneur ideas. So it's kind of like a Shark Tank type pitch competition. We also do a kids entrepreneurship fair. This is where I'm at now at the shops in Chino Hills. There'll be these elementary to junior high school kids
hmm,
that will create a product. They'll have little booths. They'll set them up in the downtown area of the shops. They sell their products that twice a year. We have about 300 kids that participate in that. We have thousands of people that will show up to buy products from those kids. So that's some
nice,
of the youth programs that we do, and that's a part of our all of that is part of our upskilled Valley program.
okay,
And then we do what normal chambers, which are we host events. So you'll see a plethora of upcoming events. Our chamber, we probably do one major event a month, and we
hmm,
also do maybe yeah, probably two or three on a weekly basis. So last year we did 193 events in total as a chamber,
oh, wow,
focusing on different sectors to support
o-
local businesses.
okay.
We
But
also
I'm
have,
curious.
yeah.
Good question. As far as is there an event that you all host? It's like a kickoff for the season. Like here in, for example, in Boulder City, they have Spring Jam, which is the kickoff for every other event that happens out there in Boulder City. Is there an event similar in the Chino Valley?
So I'll say that our kind of weather is kind of like consistent year round. So we don't have like an event kickoff events, but we
Okay.
do definitely have our events at different times. Just the way that we structure things personally, we just had our what I'll call our kickoff event. We call
Okay.
it our salute to public safety. So
Okay.
that's in March. Pretty much from December until March, we don't have those events that are happening. So then it gives us time to kind of prepare for the next year. So
Sure.
let's look to public safety. I would say is our chambers kickoff event, but it's not because of like kicking off event season for anything. Events are happening all the time. That's just what we do at our chamber here.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, and then we
Eh,
do advocacy. We support local policies that make it easier to do business in our community, that make it easier to do business across the state and our county, and work with our city officials to make sure that it's easier to do business here in the Chino Valley. And then a variety of other things, which include networking and connecting and building businesses. We try our best to help support businesses in whatever way possible.
Excellent. Excellent. And I see you're also on almost all the relevant, important social media uh, locations. Very good. Anything else that you want to? You have a member portal you can join. Any place else you'd like to take us to before we head back?
I mean, we have a member directory, right? So we have 450 members that are part of the chamber.
Okay.
So if you go to our directory and you're looking at business with anybody, or you're looking to check out what some of the businesses that are involved in the chamber are, you can
Mhm.
find it through our directory. It has a searchable function. And so we do want to always promote our local businesses. So we have 450 members and they all do business. It's a great way to connect with organizations that support the community here in the Chino Valley, and then also support local businesses.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I appreciate you taking us on a tour of the website. Actually, it's a very nicely laid out, easy to navigate. I like the colors. So well done. And I want to head back to us now. And yeah, I think it looks like it is a great community, and I love the fact that it's having been so close to it years ago, and it's nice to. I mean, the beach is nice. The trip to get to the beach could be interesting, but it's a wonderful area. As you said, it's a gateway to a lot of other different uh, locations not for outdoor adventure, and it's a perfect location. If you were going to leave our listeners with a final insight about why they should come visit Chino Valley and all that it has to offer, what would be your pitch to them?
So, I mean, I think the main thing that I really, like I mentioned, I'm born and raised here, so I have a lot of family and friends that have, like, a friend that went in the military. um, They left to other regions of the country, but I think they all wish that they could have stayed here. And
Mhm.
I think that the role that I have as a Chamber of Commerce president and CEO is see the opportunity business community has for residents to participate in it. But I don't think when I was growing that that was like articulated to our educational institution.
Mhm.
So this place is a great place. Like for the most part, anybody who like was born and raised here, like wants to stay here, has the ability to do it. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to do those outdoor things that you mentioned. There's also a robust business opportunity, but I really feel like the main thing that excites me and that excites people of my age bracket is the opportunity for growth in this area.
Okay.
It's just so many exciting things that are happening. The Olympics is coming into town in the near future, so we think that we're going to be able to host one of the Olympic events that is going to be here.
Oh, wow.
There's just attended some our State of the City where there's these really robust plans to build some kind of like business centers and like really unique things. And then I can't disclose all of them because some kind of confidentiality of aspect, but there's just like really exciting outdoor adventure type activities that are planned to come in the region. So there is just a lot of investment coming into this area, which makes it exciting to do cool new things. Like recently, Top Golf kind of came into our local community, which talks about those types of things. We have great golf courses, we have great parks, and there's just more of those things planned in the future. Oh, the one thing I can share is our county supervisor is working on this. It's the El Prado region area where they're talking about bringing like an event venue, bringing in some outdoor experiences that
Oh,
seem
wow.
really cool. There is like a little lake that's a part of that. So there's just a lot of cool things coming into town.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, definitely encourage our listeners to make their way to Chino Valley, and Ontario Airport is just a short stone's throw away, um, and
Well,
an
that is one of
easier.
the other that is definitely an economic driver, like, the Ontario International Airport, so I'll fly time for chamber conferences, and literally, it's like, hop on, drive in, you park, you walk in, you're right up into the gateway, and it's, one of the easiest ways to go fly anywhere in the world is through Ontario Airport, and then that creates lots of opportunities for our businesses as well. So it's really easy to fly in, fly out, so if you didn't wanna check out Chino, that's the perfect way to just check it out and then fly back out and then piece of cake.
I love it. I love it. Zeb, if our listeners would like to learn more about the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce, we just visited the website. Why don't we share the URL again for them?
Yeah, of course. So it's chinovalleychamber.com. We
Okay.
are on, as you mentioned, we are on all the socials. So you can also follow us on all the social channels. But we do try to highlight our local businesses so you can get a flavor. Like when we're doing that Taste of Chino Valley, we will be highlighting all of our restaurants that are participating in that. So you get a chance to see the types of restaurants, the types of businesses that we have, and then the work that we do as a chamber to support our local business community.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we will provide the backlinks to the chamber's website as well as the social sites. And one of my asks for you is if we can get some photos of the Chino Valley area, Chino Hills, so we can share those with our show notes as well, and with maybe the coffee shop, the food stand, or the out the park. I have to ask, by the way, golfing. Do you all do disc golf out there?
So actually, I did see a literally earlier today. I did see a post from one of our local golf courses where they did have like they opened up like a disc golf kind of section. It looked like they were doing it. At night. So there's some options there. I know there's like a foot golf thing and El Prado golf course that they were running for a while. I think there's lots of stuff like that going on.
All right. Fantastic. Well, listen, Seb, I appreciate you taking the time to join us on the Outdoor Adventure Series as we kind of kick off our chamber interviews. I think there's a lot to again to tie in with not only the business and economics, the families, bringing families into the community, but also the great outdoor experiences that are available, whether it's manicured lawns of a golf course or just going on hiking trails in the state park, and or go ride your bike along the Santa Ana, the riverbed. So I love that. Zeb, again, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Hey, Howard, thank you so much for bringing me on, and I really appreciate and highlighting our community.
Fantastic. Listen, stay in the line. We're going to do a quick close and you and I can have a final chat. Okay. All right, folks, we've just been chatting with Zeb Welborn. He is the president of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. I, I s- I have to admit, I was kind of reminiscing as Zeb was sharing all this great highlights of this area of my experiences being close by, and I think it was Corona and Yorba Belinda, really nearby, and just the great food and just the outdoor activities in the heart of the guess Zeb called it the Inland Empire, and it just and it truly is, if you look on a map, gateway to some wonderful areas. And as he said, also you can fly into Ontario, take advantage of the Chino Valley, explore it, and then if you need to, Disneyland's, I don't know, 45, 50 minutes away. Don't hold me to that with traffic. Well, listen, you do have to go out to the Chino Valley Chamber's website at chinovalleychamber.com. We're also going to provide backlinks to the Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube pages. And but again, this is a great opportunity to learn about what the business of a chamber is, and really this confluence of business, economics, families, and the outdoor experience. As for us, you'll find this episode on our website, outdooradventureseries.com. We are also on LinkedIn and Facebook on our Outdoor Adventure Series pages. You'll find this episode along with the tour of the website on our YouTube channel. And of course, you can listen to this podcast wherever you listen to your episodes, whether Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Just search for Outdoor Adventure Series. And remember, we do like likes, comments, and sharing. Okay, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there, have a phenomenal day. And we look forward to having you join us on a future episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast. Take care now.